Hey, Doug Tozier coming to you again from the Desert Garden in the far east valley of Phoenix, Arizona. And we're on the patio again of my home, just looking at some of the things we've done with the garden over the past couple years. Been a while since my last video, partially because I had some technical difficulties, namely my computer crashed. So anyway, we're going to kind of update on the condition of the garden and what's happened there, as well as some of the projects we have going over here. And I want to start with these beautiful pineapples that I started from the crowns of some pineapples. Planted them in these pots here. You'll notice the Boston Red Sox pot in honor of the World Series champion Boston Red Sox. Yay! Anyway, all seriousness aside, we're doing pretty well with these pineapple plants. You can see that a couple of them are doing really well. One of them just recently started growing out pretty nicely, so I'm happy with that. I'll probably be transplanting them sometime in the spring to a little bit larger pots so they can really start growing like I want them to. But I'm really happy with that. Also happy with some of the plants I have going here. Some cuttings from a tree that you can see they grew out from the original stems that I planted, and they're doing all right. And then a couple of cuttings down here. I have one plant supposed to have some nice purple flowers, but I think it's done flowering for the year, but I took a cutting off of it. And that one has started to leaf. If you can come down a little bit closer, you might be able to see the leaves right there that have started to come out. So I'm excited about that. But the best one is right here. I took this cutting off of the mother plant right here. This beautiful plant with the nice orange flowers. And it's done really well. This cutting has rooted and it's starting to put out new growth. So I've got that one going that looks really good. And then there's my tomato plants. I started these. These are cuttings off of the yellow pear tomatoes that I have out in the garden. They originally started about 6 inches tall. And now, as you can see, they are doing very well. And there's actually a tomato right there. One real live tomato right there, if you can see. We're coming down and looking at it, and so I know that these plants are viable, and they may not do a lot this year, but I'm excited about them for next year to be the starters for my garden. So anyway, that's what we got going over here. One more thing I want to show you, if you pan over this way, Jeremy, my wonderful assistant Jeremy, also my oldest son, is my carrots. I planted from seed in this pot and doing quite well. Last year I was able to get 3 or 4 of them out of a pot like this, and this year I'm doing even a little bit better. I think I might get as many as a half dozen pretty decent carrots out of it. But what I'm really excited about is the garden. Desert Oasis, come on over, Jer. Desert Oasis has some tomato plants that are still going, and what happened here is we originally planted these tomatoes here in these cages, and they produced a decent amount in the summer, and I thought they were just going to go away, but instead they've spilled over. They've actually rooted again down here, and now they're growing into these beautiful plants. And come on in, Jeremy, because I want them to see these tomatoes. Unbelievable, all the tomatoes that are growing. These are, like I said, yellow pear tomatoes, and this is by far my favorite kind of tomato, these yellow pears. So I'm really happy about this one. And then all the way over on the other end of the garden, again, we had a couple of plants here in a cage, spilled over, they rooted, and now they're growing lots and lots of tomatoes. We're going to have a really good crop this year. And then what we had happen last year and has happened again this year is we have sweet potatoes. And if you come over this way, you'll see sweet potatoes. These are all sweet potatoes all the way back to the wall, into the corner. They've grown out here. And we don't have a lot of flowers yet. In fact, I had 2 purple flowers somewhere way back there in the middle that had bloomed. I'm waiting for some more flowers to show where the potatoes are going to root, because that's what they do. They grow these long vines and then they root every so often, and those roots become the sweet potatoes. So I'm waiting for some more sweet potatoes to come up. I had actually planted a couple of cuttings that I had taken. I'd grown them indoors. You may remember the last time I talked about growing sweet potatoes from cuttings indoors and then transplanting them, and that's what these are over on this side. Looks like I may actually have the start of a flower down here off of one of these cuttings. In fact, actually, look what I just found. Just found a couple of purple flowers growing here. So that tells me these are doing really well, and they should do well even in the cooler weather. That, yes, here in the desert we do get some cooler weather in the wintertime. We should be expecting 1 or 2 at least freezing nights probably in January. So anyway, that's doing really well. There's some more sweet potatoes over there. One thing I'm really interested to see how it does is I have some artichoke down here, a couple of artichoke that I planted that really haven't done anything over the summertime. All of a sudden they're really starting to grow, leaf out real big. So I'm excited to see if we can get some artichokes out of that. And then something that I didn't realize, I planted some broccoli over this way. If you come on over, Jeremy. And these broccoli plants, I have 2 of them here side by side. And you can see that they've got a lot of leaves, really full on the leaves. This one's not so nice, but anyway, so really full, but that's it. That's all that was happening with them. And then someone told me, oh, well, broccoli, that's a winter plant. So I'm just waiting to see if maybe as we get into the cooler weather, if maybe we get some broccoli out of this. That'll be a nice bonus that I wasn't expecting. So that's where we're at. We had 1 tomato plant here that had done nothing and then all of a sudden grew up. And it's got some decent growth here and some blooms on it. So I'm interested. I don't know if you can get close enough to see the little blooms. Everywhere there's a bloom, there should be a tomato that forms. So we got that going. I have had some tomato hornworms that I've had to deal with, and let's just say I put them out of their misery. So I think I've taken care of all the main pests that we usually get. These plants seem to be doing really well. The tomatoes, I'm actually really excited about seeing how much of a good crop we get this year before it gets too cold for them to produce anymore. Oh, and by the way, Gobi is out in the yard. He's feeding on some grass, but I'll tell you what he really likes. One of his favorites, actually 2 of his favorites. I'm going to start with one of these broccoli leaves, and then I didn't bring my cutters over, but I'm going to try to take some sweet potato. Tell you what, these, he will eat these all day long. Hey Gobi, look it. I got some treats for you, buddy. And he will just devour those. The more I give him, the more he likes it. So in addition to the garden feeding our family with some really good vegetables, we also have the benefit of some things that the desert tortoise likes as well, and keeps him pretty happy, I think, to have all of that. So that's it. That's what we got going here in the Desert Oasis. It's the beginning of November. It's about 84 degrees, nice balmy fall day in the desert. But hey, what can you expect? It's better than nothing. So we've gone from the intense heat of summer to the not quite as intense heat of fall, and we're doing what we always do, just trying to make a few things grow. That's our purpose here. Really is some good food for our family, but also it's to show that even in the worst conditions, desert soil, heat, and everything else, we can still grow some pretty good stuff. So if you're in a place like this and you're wondering if you can grow anything, well, let me tell you, it's possible. And I haven't even done a lot with the soil. I'm going to do some more composting this year, and I think that's going to help a lot, but it happens. You just got to give it a try. So until next time, happy growing.